What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny G, and welcome back to Part 3 and the finale of Arknights Hortus de Escapismo. We're going to go ahead and finish off the event tonight, and we basically have stages 6, 7, and 8, and the Story 2 and Epilogue Story to complete. And once we get that done, we should be in good shape. So, we're going to go ahead and get that done here so I can do a little bit of farming after I'm done recording and complete some of the things out of the item shop in the event. But other than that, we're ready to rock and roll and get to the climax of this story. I'm very anxious to see how this wraps up because, as I said at the end of the last episode, everything has kind of started to hit that like bubbling point, like we're about to head towards the finale, but there's so many plot lines and different ways that we're waiting for it all to come together and to collapse into one conclusive finish. So we'll see what happens. I'm anxious to find out more. And I want to see how much involvement Virtuosa has in this, because that's one of the things that's got me a little bit confused about the story. She's appeared a couple times, but how is she involved? How much direction is she taking this in? Or how much control does she have, I should say. Either way, between that and what's obviously happening with the Sankta and Oren's plot and things like that, what's going on with Federico and even the stuff that Serpilia and Rochelle are doing, we're going to figure it out, hopefully, by the end of this one and have a little bit more of a clear, concise understanding of this whole mess of a situation. But without further ado, let's jump right in and get started. Alrighty, here we go. Let's go ahead and get into this here and get started with HE-6. I'm farming on my other account here down below on my phone, so hopefully that's not too crazy. Now, just as a heads up, before I get started with the narration, I'm a little tired, and I just ate here a little bit ago, so hopefully that doesn't affect anything, but we're going to try our best to do better here. All right. There's no sign of fighting inside the house. The children are still sleeping. Hyman wouldn't harm these kids. You could be sure of that. Not yet. I don't know how long she can maintain her reason. Thank you. How do you intend to tell these kids about Hyman when they wake up? They have a right to know. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Is that a suggestion? No, Federico. I hope you don't mind me calling you that. It was you who spared Hyman. It was you who earned the children's trust. Choice is yours. Feeling the weight? I'm not wearing any extra weights. I'll take that as your personal brand of humor. He's got a smirk. What are you looking at? Do you know what this is? A piece of cloth? We use stuff like that to make blankets for winter, but I've never seen this pattern before. It's a common Lateran pattern. Underneath the cloth, the twins' breathing is long and steady. The executor looks at it for a while, then turns his gaze to the simple desk beside. There is a small clay jar on it. Other than the children, the flower in the jar, not yet fully wilted, provides the only color in the room. Flower. It's pretty dried up. Must have been there for at least 2 days. Is this Hyman's hobby? I don't know. I thought I knew the people who follow me, but I'm not even sure. I must return to the sacrarium. I have enough information to pass judgment on the Sarkaz. And what is your judgment? First, there is something I must know. Have you had any interaction with Oren Argiolus? Oren the Nuncio? Yes. Not much. He went missing soon after he arrived. I see. You call yourself Gerald, but that is not your real name. Who can say if a name is real or not? I've used it for 10 years. I've been Gerald the Hunter ever since we started living here and built our first house with these broken planks. Those broken planks. How you identify is none of my concern. You can be Gerald. Then, a strange sense of urgency causes the words to fall from the tongue. Federico does not give him time to speak. He says the name that has not been spoken in public for 10 years. A mercenary who made his name in the Kazdal Civil War, wanted by the Notarial Hall, 32 confirmed crimes on his record, responsible for annihilating 3 of the Holy Lateran's executor maniples. Holst Typhondale. You knew? He's like, surprise. Yes, I knew. What I can find out, others can too. This is your final warning. Your identity is no longer a secret, Gerald. Target structure confirmed. Hard to believe the Sarkaz would really want to live in an abbey of ours. Ready to move in? No rush. We'll wait for the order. Let's wait and see. We have the area surrounded. Same as that Sarkaz team we nabbed earlier. Not a single one of them is getting away. Yes, sir.
I got some food. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. Sorry, Serpilia. I'm not hungry. Well, I'll leave it here. You might start to feel hungry in a bit. Gratias, Serpilia. What for? Nothing in particular. I just wanted to thank you. Eat up and go to bed if you really want to thank me. I get off earlier that way. Really? Then I'll go to sleep. Sorry, I can't sleep. I figured. Are you sure you should be here? I'm feeling much better now. What I mean is, you don't have to stay with me if you don't want to. Watching you is my job, girl. I'm not exactly a saint. I won't run away. Who knows? The better a girl behaves, the more you have to keep an eye on her. Do you know what those black horns on your head mean? Do you know what's waiting for you when you're brought back to Laterano? No, I don't. Of course you don't. You can't empath with me, can you? Oh, don't look like that. I was just trying to scare you a little. His Holiness is pretty kind, all things considered. No need to worry too much. I'm not worried. Whatever punishment I receive, I deserve. What's that sound? Is there someone outside? Whatever it is, it's none of your business. Stay put. I'll check it out. Huh? Strange. There's nobody here. You're really letting your guard down. It hasn't been that long. The way you talk still makes me want to punch you. I'm wondering how you operate in Victoria. Did you spend all your time making enemies for Laterano, Oren?
I resent that characterization. No one takes his job more seriously than me. Speaking of job, you're already on your side, aren't you, Serpilia?
Maybe.
I need a less ambiguous answer. We move at dawn, if there are no complications. What are they doing now?
Strange. Serpilia hasn't come back yet. Things seem to have calmed down outside. What's that sound? Serpilia? Is that you?
Shh. It's Raymond.
It's me. Raymond!
Come with me, Fortuna.
Finally, outside.
Why are you here, Lemuin?
There was a bit of trouble. I ran into someone unpleasant and let him get away. It sounds even worse when I put it that way. I came because I heard a commotion over here. I'm surprised you would make a threat like that.
Threat?
Wasn't it? Then what did you mean?
I was only telling the truth. Correct judgment is based on the truth of present situation. I don't need to threaten anyone.
I think I get it. But there's nothing more unpredictable than people. Even if we fail to understand our own thoughts sometimes, and it's not unusual for our actions and thoughts to contradict one another. Even we fail. I said even if we fail. Experience tells me that things rarely develop in the most logical way. Setting that aside, the situation is more complicated than I expected. We need to exchange information, Federico.
Excuse me.
You mean the monster we saw was the missing Sarkaz by the name of Hyman? The state that you saw her in was different from what I saw. And if that's the case...
She's gone from being impossible to communicate with, demonstrating no capacity for thought beyond feeding instinct, to being able to communicate in a limited manner.
Evolution. That is a reasonable hypothesis. She has undergone a transformation. During a mission, I read about a religious cult that operates on the Iberian coastline. The Church of the Deep. You seem to know a lot about them, Federico. Have you seen similar creatures on previous missions? Rarely. But you have? That makes things easier to explain. I had reason to read up on it a while ago. We may be working with the Iberian Inquisition concerning that cult. They've caught His Holiness's attention. I didn't expect to run into them here. It's a difficult problem. Difficult and dangerous. I doubt I would have gotten the upper hand if that visitor was trying to do more than slow me down. This is irritating. I really need to get back to form. Even Serpilia will start looking down on me at this rate. Back to the situation at hand. Are you sure you should have told Gerald all that? He has a right to know. All right. What's the plan now? Investigate. What? Fires don't start on their own. Something is not right with the fire at the sacrarium. And the flower. No, I can't be sure yet. First, I need to find what caused the fire. Sorry to wake you at this hour. It's okay. A lot of us couldn't sleep anyway. Let everyone know. I've let everyone know. We can leave at any time. But didn't you say we were leaving in the morning? What changed? Is it because of the fire? I guarantee you it wasn't Raymond who did it. We don't need to... No, I don't suspect him. Then, we have a situation. I'll explain later, but we can't wait until morning. Still no word from the team we sent out? No, it's strange. They might have run into trouble. Should I take a few guys and check it out? No, we'll go together. Make sure everyone sticks together. No one wanders off on their own. I'll scout ahead, have the old folks come with me. You take the rear guard with Raymond, alright? Something's not alright. I can see it in your face. What's going on? You're anxious. Why? Because of the Laterans? Nothing gets past you. You're always cautious, Reed. Stop that. Stop. That's not my name anymore. Sorry, Gerald cannot finish his sentence. He realizes why his old friend could tell something was wrong at a glance. He realized he had his hand on the hilt of his dagger. He's turning from Gerald the hunter to the mercenary he once was. Sorry. Felt too much like our Casdell days. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But I have a bad feeling about this. Call it a hunch, but we should leave as soon as possible. Yes, as soon as possible. Take the ones who are ready. We go now. Like I said, you're the boss. Your call. But the last time you had a hunch, it was about finding a place and having a better life. We'll find it, I swear. I believe you. You found this place for us. I hope it goes smoothly. I'm sorry, Eileen, but I can't take you this time. Will you blame me for it? What would you think if you could see this? Who's there? It's me, Gerald. Are you busy? There's something you should know. Wow, that old man is intimidating, isn't he? This mission has gotten seriously complicated. Sarkaz, a fallen angel, and a mad abbot. Give me a break. And I'm here with Federico of all people. Is that a good thing or not? Just in case... Oren, it's me. Are you gonna do it? You've got the guys there, right? I suggest you look into this Bishop Stefano. Something's not right with him. He'll be dangerous. A hunch? Maybe. I have a bad feeling about this abbey. Well, I guess that's not the right way to put it. It's bad because things aren't that bad. You've been here longer than I have. Don't you feel it? How could there be a place where everyone works so hard, yet feels no hope at all? That's such a sad thing. So, I told Raymond about Delphina and Fortuna, not knowing that he didn't know. He got very worked up. I'm concerned. Gerald, are you okay? I'm fine. Don't worry. It's not your fault. I just didn't have the chance to tell him. Where's Raymond? He ran out after asking me about Fortuna. He said he was going to get her back. They have Laterans guarding Fortuna. Are you sure about this? The Sankta won't allow it. Ryman was born here. Things are different out there. He doesn't understand our relationship with the Sankta. I remember. You said that relations between Sankta and Sarkaz are bad. It might not have been so bad if we were all just civilians. Won't Ryman be in danger? I'll find him. Thanks for telling me. There isn't much I can do. I'm beginning to think you were right, Gerald. You should leave this place. Go now. It's the right choice. Don't wait until tomorrow. That's the plan. You seem anxious, Clement. Did something else happen? I'm fine. Today has been quite a day. It's a little too much. Go, Gerald. You were right. You shouldn't stay here. Something's off about you, Clement. Calm down, you. We have a problem! What is it? We went the opposite way from the scout team as you had ordered. We saw troops approaching the abbey. Troops? Laterans! Sancta and Pontifica cohorts! I fought them many times. I'd know them from a mile away. They're going to surround us. They never intended to let us go. Gerald draws his fingers back with a start. A moment later, he realizes that it's because his fingertips are too cold. So cold that the leather sheath seems to be burning. Clement, I'm here. What do we do? Don't worry. I've been running for too long. This is just putting things back the way they should be. All will be settled. Tell us what to do, boss. We prepared to fight. Thank you for spending all these years with me. All of you. Don't talk like that. What are you doing, Gerald? What are you doing? Put down that knife! Calm down! I'm perfectly calm, Clement. The Sarkaz exhales, clutches the dagger, and pulls it out from its sheath. It burns. For an instant, there, he had difficulty holding on to his old friend. My mind has not been so clear in a decade. If only blood can end it all, then there's only one thing left to do. Don't worry, the blood of Sarkaz is not shed lightly. Okay. Okay, well. HE-6.
Remember,
we got a
purpose
doofer.
is not violence itself, but rather the victory it brings.
Oof.
Draw swords.
Texas there. Okay, we need to keep these guys calm.
Awaiting order.
Calm them down.
Pass on your last words? No.
And what purpose do you think your sacrifice will serve?
Okay.
Please, trust in me.
Okay. Them down. Okay. Alright. We need Shu.
I'm prepared to fight.
Alright, come on.
Got it. Cut them to pieces. I'm prepared. I am Dublin.
Okay.
Ready to move. A valiant struggle, but you won't get away.
You saw nothing. Need speed to succeed.
19, 20. Okay, get them calmed down. Alright, we really need to get somebody out to back up Texas, or we do this. Get him, Pookie. That statue may be gone, but we don't have to worry about anything down here. Or like holes or anything opening up, so that's gonna make a significant difference in this stage.
Let me create a diversion.
Let's put her there temporarily.
Whoa, wait, I'm fighting Fortuna? What?
This hunt has dragged on for too long.
Wait a second, I don't remember that when I played this stage before. That's a little crazy. Wait a second. Okay, wait. I need Texas. I'm not gonna be able to calm these guys, which is okay, but Texas, you gotta go out here and take care of these two. Okay, that guy's done. Oh, no. Okay, these guys are getting hurt now.
Moving to designated location.
Spring breeze, timely rain.
So Shu,
Now
you
we
can hang
sow
out
the
there
grain.
to block that. I'm gonna pull Texas just for the minute, and then we're gonna get her out here again to attack these guys. 20.
Pass on your last words.
Okay, done. Now it's just Fortuna. For whatever reason, I don't remember that when I played it on my other account here. That's odd.
Mission accomplished.
Wasn't a hard stage, but man, I had to fight her. I had to fight Tuna. Tuna fish, anyways. Raymond, wait, Raymond, what are you doing? Taking you away from here. I know what's going on. I won't let them take you. No need to be scared. Come with me. We'll help you. No, I'm not scared. Raymond, let me go. You don't get it. Sorry. Was I hurting you? I'm okay. I decided to go with them to Laterano, Raymond. What? What are you saying? Did they threaten you? He'll die if you go there. I deserve to. Let me go, Raymond. No one threatened me. I killed Fina. I can't run away from this. Tofina? That was an accident. I don't want to hear that anymore, especially from you. An accident. An accident. Of course I wouldn't point a gun at Fina on purpose. It was a tragic accident, but she's dead. Dead. She'll never open her eyes again. She'll never speak to us again. Fortuna, calm down. You'll hurt yourself. I want to calm down. I don't want to be crying like this. But why doesn't anyone blame me? Why does everyone call it an accident? As though that means Fina's death didn't matter. They killed Fina. What difference does it make if that it was an accident? Breathe. Don't hold it in. Feeling better? I'm sorry, Raymond. I shouldn't be like this, but I don't know what to do. I only know that I can't go. I can't run away and pretend that nothing happened. I can't accept that it was an accident. This is my sin. No more talking. Don't worry about me, Raymond. It might not be that bad. Serpilia, that Lateran emissary who came today, she was kind to me. I wasn't mistreated. Maybe they'll lock me up when we get to Laterano. I have horns now. I don't know if I'm Sankta anymore. It doesn't really matter if I'm not. Anyway, I'm fine, Raymond. You? No. Huh? I can't let it happen. I can't just leave you like this, Fortuna. Raymond, what are you? He just picked her up and... Hush, hold your breath. Someone's coming. He hung up. How did you get Rochelle over to your side? That's an exaggeration. He's always been that type who only does what's good for him. He's even better than I am at looking out for himself. Oh, I feel like I'm being watched. Has your paranoia finally caused you to hallucinate, Oren? I'd rather believe that there really is someone watching in the shadows. Just a joke. Don't look at me like that. Where's the fallen angel you were watching? Sound asleep, I would think. Stay on topic. What were you saying about pushing the schedule forward? Not that you can't, but that's not what we agreed on. Why the sudden change? Give me a reason. What difference does it make to you? Not much, which is why I can choose not to cooperate. Unless my memory deceives me, I have commanded the troops. I'm prepared to write a report.
You're anxious, Orin. What's the matter? This is a secret operation. It's not so easy to deploy troops. If the matter of the Saints didn't catch His Holiness's attention, even then, His Holiness seems to have noticed something, and specifically sent Federico. You know how hard it is to pull wool over Federico's eyes. Do you really think you succeeded? Probably not. I would say I know him well enough. There won't be much trouble if he doesn't pursue the matter. Our goal is just to stop everyone who wants to leave, isn't it? On the other hand, the beast is out of the bag the moment you give the order to attack. Federico isn't concerned about the means, only the end. Oh, you think so? Let me just make it clear that if you get on his bad side, I can't stop him. So much for camaraderie. A message? Who could it be at this hour? Oh, who is it? See for yourself. Bring Orin to the narthex immediately. Federico. So much for the wool. Everything you talked about, I'll take care of. Do as I say. We take control of the Abbey immediately. Get all available hands on it. That urgent? An old man has given the last 60 years of his life to the Abbey. He went so far as to imprison Lateran emissaries for the sake of those Sarkas. He suddenly became open to compromise in desperate circumstances, even proposing something so ritualistic as a final farewell. Why do you think? That, plus some Sarkas, who are not entirely unknown, and visitors hiding in the shadows. We have to act quickly. I've got a bad feeling. Take control? What does he mean? Why? Don't you understand? The Sankta lied to us. I have to tell Gerald. I knew it. Those Laterans never intended to play nice. The situation has changed. It's dangerous for you to be with me. Find a safe place. I doubt they'll do anything to you immediately. Wait, Raymond! I changed my mind. I'm coming with you. My. What a coincidence to run into you two. I'm so glad you're safe, Lemon. Any news? You look concerned, Executor Rochelle. I found something that I thought warranted investigation. Has to do with the abbot. But anyway, more investigation is needed. What about you, Federico? What are you doing? Work. Okay. That much is obvious. What did you find? Something to do with the Sarkas? Yes. I heard last night's fire was started by an angry Sarkas. Is that true? No. What's this? Rehearsing your stand-up comedy routine? Enough jokes. Jokes? Orin and Serpelia will be here soon. Well, by the sound of it, you knew Orin hid on purpose from the get-go? Obviously. That's just his luck, isn't it? He just can't seem to get away from you, whether at the Summit of Nations or now. I allowed Orin to act on his own accord, because the complicated situation at the Sancta Laminium Ambrosi called for a plan B. But maybe he needs a reminder. So, what's going on? I was told to come immediately and bring Orin. Ah, there you are, Orin. Finally decided to show your face. It's been a while, Lemoine. Can't you be a little nicer to me? We're partners on this mission, after all. It's because we're partners that you're still able to talk. Whatever your plan was, the situation here doesn't call for that kind of aggression. It's time to stop, Orin. Couldn't you two pretend you didn't see anything, like that guy over there? Oh, I would prefer if you didn't drag me into this. I will deal with Rochelle when we return to the Notarial Hall. Gratias, Orin. As for you, Orin, if you truly believe there is a need for you to operate independently, you may try to persuade me. Well, since there's no one else here, I'll cut straight to the chase. Did you really think I wouldn't notice that you were trying to let those two kids go? A fallen Sancta and a Sarkas. Even a blind man wouldn't notice. Humph. You. I've been patient for far too long. Are you criticizing my methods? Not at all. Not at all. But I have my own methods. We've wasted too much time here. We need to consider how we can get this done quickly with no loose ends. And so you decided to deploy a special forces unit. You make it sound so easy. You know full well that deploying troops and giving the order are two different things. Do you know how hard it was to come up with a justification that even His Holiness could not rebuke? Now I have one. That sarcasm boy, Ryman. Arson of a sacrarium is a serious offense. Arson of a sacrarium is a serious offense. That's before I mentioned that he's sarcasm. We're perfectly justified in seizing him and taking the investigation into our hands. He was not the one who set the fire to the sacrarium. Your justification is baseless. I have no need of your intervention until I uncover the truth. The truth? Ha! Is the truth really important? What is more rational and logical than taking control and securing order? Did you not consider it, Federico? Is the truth really so important to you? Excuse me. Did you not consider the possibility of the locals resisting Orin? I didn't think you'd say something so silly. So silly, Lemuin. If the sarcasm want to resist, so much the better. Who's there? Sound of knocking echoes through the hall. The door creaks open, and the unusually bright rays of the moon pour in through the gap. There's a figure standing in the moonlight. Senor Federico. What? Clement. I finally found you, Senor Federico. I was asked to bring you this. By whom? What is... The rest of the sentence vanishes into the night. The tall and thin figure approaches, his back to the moonlight, his head bowed. It is as if all the light in the room had converged upon him, but the overly bright light also casts a dark, suffocating shadow. That's why Gerald pulled the dagger. He killed himself. He sacrificed himself, didn't he? But what's that gonna do? What good is that for? Now Federico sees what Clement is holding. What he said he was asked to bring to Federico. A dagger. Old but no less sharp for it. Once hidden in the belt of a certain someone. Next to the dagger, there's a package wrapped in cloth that has been dyed a deep shade of red, from which some sort of liquid continues to drip. What is it? It is... The sinner, Holst Typhondale, offers his head freely. The sinner had admitted responsibility for all the crimes, all the evils committed hitherto. He has now paid his price. All that remains is a band of insignificant vagrants. Will the reverend emissaries of Laterano show grace and mercy? Wow! Senor Federico, I bring you Gerald's last words. He begs you to take the head of the fugitive Holst and his weapon. In exchange, spare Fortuna and Raymond. Spare the other Sarkaz.
Good, good.
I did
had no idea
not
you
expect
were so
that.
clever and learned. I was going to ask you how you make my tongue.
Talk
But
about
with such
crazy.
a good head on your shoulders, I'm feeling a little bad now.
Ooh-wee. Let's collect our stuff here. Onward to Story 2. Though no longer unblemished, the flower has still not something. Look here, Holst. You've got to hand it to Clement. He really planted the flowers in front of the statue. Prettier than anywhere else. I'm surprised Stefano was okay with it. Digging a hole in the sacrarium floor, searching for the right dirt, all that. Take it easy. You're injured. It's just a little scratch. Even little scratches can get worse. And call me Gerald. All right. You're starting to nag like Stefano. That's why his face is all wrinkly. Don't end up like him. Worry less, meddle less. That's the key to a long life. Don't say that. Stefano wants the best for the Abbey. It's thanks to him that we get to live here. I know. I'm just saying he worries too much. I'm afraid it'll become too much for him. Stefano is considered stubborn. Even amongst the Sankta, he won't budge on what he thinks is right. But that's one of the reasons we found refuge here. He says the Sarkaz are just like other people. And he's right. Well, you and I, we'll have his back if things become too much for him. We'll repay our debt. And stop thinking about what happened in the past. We turned our backs on Teresa when we left Castle. We can't go back, Gerald. Neither of us can. I know. You don't need to remind me. The fact that they brought up Teresa, man. Why you gotta do that to me? Anyways. I don't remember when I stopped believing in Her Highness's vision. Couldn't see the future of the Sarkaz in our two rulers. It's okay. I'm fine. We have a new life now. I led those who wanted to leave away from Kazdal. I'll take responsibility. Life is much better than it used to be. Be careful. We don't have the same resources we did before, and there's some tough customers among those bandits. Aren't you being a little too careful? How long will it take for the infamous mercenary to become a humble hunter out in the middle of nowhere? 5? 10? Gerald, yes? Have you really thought about what you'll look like when you put down your weapons for real and settle in as a humble hunter? What will I look like? No, I've never thought about it. What will I look like? You'll see for yourself, Eileen. A long time ago, Gerald used to look up at the night sky when he needed a breather after killing. The sky is an oppressive black. The campfire has gone out, and even the embers have cooled. Bloodied mercenaries wipe away the dirt from their faces, gazing at their equally battered comrades, briefly pondering questions they had hardly had the luxury to think about. Can Sarkaz like them truly hope for a happy life? He once believed that the day would come when the Sarkaz rebuilt their home, but he feels more helpless with each passing day. They have shed too much blood. They will run out of blood before their monarch's vision comes true. Eventually, Gerald abandoned Kazdal, bringing along those gasping for breath, running from the land they once fought to the death for. They hid from the world, ultimately finding a place that would take them. All they wanted was a normal, peaceful life. The dream came true once. When did life turn bitter and oppressive? It is like a fine dish on the table that no one has tasted. It has gone bad through no one's doing. If only blood can end this all, then there is only one thing left to do. Don't bother trying to change my mind, Clement. I can't go, and I won't go. I never told you my old name. It's not a past I'm proud of. An infamous deserter, a broken man. With me here, they have an excuse to harm the others. Don't be so sad. I'm just going to see Eileen. Death is familiar enough to me. I used to trade in death. Excuse me. My life is a small price to pay for the lives of all the others. And don't worry about the ones left behind. They'll follow my order. Raymond is young. He might be impetuous. Do try to calm him down, won't you? Finally, tell Stefano that we probably shouldn't have stopped, back when we were wandering the wastes. Maybe we shouldn't have tried to stay. But this place is too good. It was like a dream, living together for so many years. Sooner or later, though, we all have to wake up. Tell Stefano, gratias, and me penitsit. I'll leave the rest to you, Clement. Here at the end of it all, am I a hunter? Or am I still that mercenary? I'm sorry, Eileen. I don't suppose you'd like what I've become, what I look like now. Dawn is broken. It seemed like a lot has happened, but then it also seemed like it all happened in the blink of an eye. It was a long night, wasn't it? What are you doing? Nothing worthy of your time, Signor Federico. I just wanted to find a flower. Gerald shouldn't go to see Eileen empty-handed. But it looks like the fire last night burned everything. There's nothing left. If it's just a flower you want, you wouldn't need to come here. You don't understand, Signor Federico. It's not the same. The flowers here were different. A special breed grown only in this monastery. They represent friendship and hope. Yes, friendship and hope. The abbot told me they were a symbol of Laterano's partnership with Iberia, one of the abbey's most important possessions. Beautiful. I was struck immediately. There used to be flower beds all over the abbey, covering every inch when you looked down from the bell tower during bloom season. Eileen loved the sight of it. So did Gerald. Many were scared to talk to the Sarkaz, but they got along a lot better after the first bloom season. People realized that the cruel and warlike Sarkaz would stop to take a look when they passed by the flower beds. They would take a flower or two to put in their homes. They weren't fearsome desperados. They were no different from us. There is one here. Ah, you mean the one beneath the statue? I saw it. It was lucky to lie beneath the statue when it fell. But it's not the one I wanted. Why? Look at it, don't you see? It may have hid itself beneath the statue, but its stem is broken, and its petals are burned. But it's still here. Is it? I used to believe there were things that would survive, no matter the adversity. You may laugh, but I truly did. Life wasn't easy, but all was good. Amita Nina would make snacks for the kids when she has the time. Have you ever heard of herb pizzelle? Amita Nina and Hyman made them from a Lateran recipe, using Sarkaz herbs. A dessert that everyone loved. One that belonged to this abbey, and this abbey alone. Amita Nina used to say that tasting bitter fruit is all well and good, but the children should grow up knowing more than bitterness. They should know what sweetness tastes like. I will commit this dessert to memory. It's not important. We forgot the taste of sweetness a long time ago. No one makes pizzelle anymore. I find myself curious at times. If Sankta weren't so special, if everyone in Laterano was mundane, normal, insignificant as I am, would the holy city still look the same? Would Laterano be Laterano? I don't know. That's a shame. Clement, do you no longer have faith? Have your beliefs changed? I was just made to see reality. Things are not as immutable as people think. Testing them only harms them. One little flaw, one little imperfection, one tiny little wound, and it's broken beyond repair. Like the flower you found. Flower I'm looking for is no longer here. It's almost time for matins. I should go. Goodbye, Signor Federico. Now he's holding the flower. Federico Giallo stands alone in the morning light of the sacrarium. The marks left behind by the flames have already been scrubbed away. Deprived of its furnishings, the sacrarium feels empty, with the sound of footsteps to fill it. Federico is an outstanding executor. He has been with the Notario Hall for 6 years, carrying out his duties with excellence. But this is his first year as a saint. There is no one to guide him or instruct him. The silent saint picks up the broken and burned flower. The statue protected it from the flames. It was a miracle that it survived the fire. But this miracle was worthless in the eyes of another. Flower is still here, but it is not the one he wanted. Wounds beyond repair. I don't understand. Laterano still be Laterano. Insufficient data to reach a conclusion. Executor Federico realizes with a start. Clement's expression was too calm. He did not mention Gerald's death, nor the arrangements of the other Sarkaz. What about himself? Words without action have no power. That is why he did not say he would find out the truth, nor did he say he would fulfill Gerald's last request. Federico gazes at the broken flower before his eyes. He has a feeling that someday he will find the answer to all his questions in this flower. Didn't he do something with the flower
or like that particular image popped up during Zwillingssturm near the end with him, or something with the flower popped up. I don't remember for sure, but there was like little callbacks to this. Because we also saw, now that I remember it, we also saw flashes of stuff with Clement and with the bishop. So it was weird between him and Arturia seeing things. But anyways.
Morning, Sarah. It's time to wake up. Aaron, wake up, Aaron. Mama came back yesterday. Huh? She came back. Where is she? It must be her. Look. A new blanket from Mama. It's a little torn, but there are pictures of circles on it and people with wings, like what Mama promised us. Who cares if it's a little torn? Mama's clothes are torn too. We have to be good. I know. Let's go and find Signor Federico. Can we play with Signor Federico today? No, silly. We're going to tell Signor Federico that Mama came back to see us at last night, so he doesn't need to worry.
He found their mom. He followed through. All right. HE-7. Okay. There you are, Father. It's your turn to clean the chapel today, Jory. Gratias.
Just doing my job. I had trouble sleeping anyway. I'll fetch the sacramental bread.
No need.
Oh, right. Look at me, dust all over my hands. Say, do you smell something? It's pretty faint.
A strange smell.
No, a pleasant one. It's fresh. I sense in it vitality. It's hard to put into words. It's like standard downwind. I don't know where it comes from, but I feel like I'd get somewhere if I followed it.
I think it's the smell of flowers, Jory. We don't have enough flour, so flour powder was added to the sacramental bread. A few remaining bottles of wine in the cellar have started to go sour, so I also added some flour powder to those too. Clement harvested some flowers a couple days ago, grinding them into powder and storing it in the cellar. He loves the flowers just as he loves us. This will be the final communion we take before the abbey departs. We are short on food, however, so we must reduce each share of sacramental bread, even mixing in other grains.
Please don't say that. I'm very much looking forward to today's communion.
Then go and wash your face. Come back with the others when it's time for matins. I'll do the rest myself.
Yes, Father.
Will we be saved after today, Father?
All of us, Sankta and Sarkaz.
Will we all be saved?
Even though Gerald is already...
Go, Jory.
Okay. See you later, Father.
The old man closes the door. He climbs the chancel slowly. Stefano Torregrossa, the aging abbot of Sancta Laminium Ambrosi, carefully divides the sacramental bread and wine. His head is bowed. It is still early. The dim morning light shines through the windows behind the holy statue. The face of the statue is hidden in the darkness, as is the abbot's own. Yes, we will all be saved. She walks into the broken sacrarium, crushing the charred remains of plants to powder beneath her feet. The arched roof of the sacrarium has collapsed in the fire, exposing the interior in the sunlight. The wind has carried away the smell, but there is no one to clean up the rubble. The marks of the fire will remain forever, unless the chapel is rebuilt. She takes a look at the collapsed statue, then abruptly turns to the empty space behind her.
Humans struggle, punish, and forgive themselves, like a sonata at its climax, the keys dancing a frantic tune. When a decision is made, the long and steady coda begins. The emptiness at the end of catharsis, yet infinitely determined. Emotions are complex, but the changes are always alike. The melody is conventional, regular, devoid of surprise. I sense your serenity. You have made your choice. In any case, the song I should play is you. Hear the voice of your own heart, here at the very end. You lost, vibrant soul. The pots and chopping boards. Signs of baking, but no smell of yeast in the air. Oh, I guess it's the unleavened bread. This looks like they were preparing the Eucharist here. There's unidentified debris. It feels wet. Is it because we're underground? No. There's flour left in the corner. Why is it so damp and sticky? The smell. Is this the only path the pious abbot saw at the end of all? Can't get in touch with Federico. Tell Oren. That will only make things more complicated. Am I the one who's going to have to do this? I barely know where Iberia even is. This is such a headache. Forces will soon surround the monastery. I will command them to block every path in and out. You stay here and coordinate with the assault. What is it? Are you sure you want to do this, Oren? Did you go over to Lemoen's side the moment you saw her? I don't think I need to waste my time explaining this again. But I'll stop you, Oren. Lemoen? She caught up. My time while I rendezvous with the troops. No way, did you see the expression on her face? I'm not kidding on her bad side. I still remember when she dragged me out of school and confiscated my drone. I never saw it again. Gratias, Superlia. You never thought to convince the abbot to bring the monastery back to Laterano. That's your job. You never intended to let any of the Sarkaz leave. You've even got commandos deployed to carry out your plan. 50 men, the limit of what I can muster. What are the Lateran laws to you, Oren? I will submit myself to His Holiness's judgment when we get back, though I don't think I've done anything that should be punished. You know the consequences of an assault on the Abbey. The people here, both Sankta and Sarkaz, are like travelers who lost their way in the wilderness, who found warmth by a campfire. The campfire guides their kin to rescue them, and other poor wandering souls. They have no one to count on. They are weak and frightened, but they still hold on to their precious kindness. That's why Gerald gave his life to plead with us, and ordered the Sarkaz under his leadership to keep the peace between the two sides. But what if the campfire has attracted some beasts? I wish I could say pretty words and do the kind of work everyone admires, Cardinal Aide Lemoen. But I can't. You've never traveled the war-torn wastes with thousands upon thousands of refugees, seen the dark cloud that blankets the skies over Londinium. But I thought you would at least have a tacit understanding with me. Give some thought to the danger in letting those Sarkaz go. The atrocities the Sarkaz committed in Victoria are well known. They continue to spread their terror across the lands. If you truly believe in His Holiness's plan, believe in the value of the legati, then you should understand why Laterano can't be merciful here. The friendship that Laterano built at the Summit of Nations is more fragile than the paper windows of this corridor. Sarkaz and the Abbey are resentful and affected by Arturia's arts. There's no telling what lengths they will go to in order to get revenge after they leave. Plus, what would happen if word got out that a Lateran nomadic abbey has been colluding with the Sarkaz for decades? How will Laterano uphold its sanctity among the nations of Terra? How will she maintain her already fragile diplomatic ties? What will the Holy City look like when the fires of war burn? 50 men. That's all we'll take to resolve the situation here and bury it all in the darkness. These Sarkaz are hunters, farmers. The only mercenary is dead. We saw proof with our own eyes. You're planning a massacre. You talk about upholding Laterano's sanctity when you're the one defiling it. Don't you see the hypocrisy in that? You're the hypocrite here, Lemoen. The Lemoen the Silent I know wouldn't have blinked at something like this. Did 5 years of sleep change you? Or was it the so-called martyr? Oren never managed to say the name, The wheelchair closes the distance in the blink of an eye, and his midsection meets the barrel of a sniper rifle leaning against the wall. He barely manages to stay on his feet, and it takes all his effort to keep his voice level. Level? Yes. Get up!
Go on. Lemo and the Silent. I told you not to get on her bad side.
Team 2 at target location. Charge is set. All 3 exits on the blueprints of the Sancta Ambrosi are under control. If anyone tries to get out, the explosion will collapse the passage and force them back. More like bury them under the rubble. Team 2 was laughing about not being too precise here. Go ahead. Teams 3 and 4 have taken the high ground. We have sniper cover in all directions. All teams in position. Right on time. Reverend Oren, we are in position to begin the assault on the Sarkaz and the Abbey. Repeat, we are in position.
What is it?
No response. That's not good. Ha! Don't worry about it. He probably has his hands full with an extra large crepe.
Does that happen a lot?
All the time. First on a special operation, chill. The Lateran watches over you. Just make sure you're ready. Go in the front door if we can't reach Oren, or if there's any unusual activity. No one in the hallway. Quick, this way.
That way leads out the Abbey. Are we looking for Gerald?
No, I need to get you to safety first. Didn't you hear? The Laterans are taking the Abbey by force. That woman, Serpilia, might have played nice, but the army won't. You can't be seen by the Lateran army. You're fallen. To them, you're
Go ahead, Raymond. I can handle it. Don't let me interrupt you. I did Fina.
All I meant to say is that you've never changed. Not to me, Fortuna. Anyway, you're in the same boat we are. It's only going to mean more trouble for the others if you stay behind.
All right. I'll do as you say. But what about you, Raymond? Will you be all right?
Don't worry. Gerald made plans for everything. I'm sure he anticipated something like this. I'll come back and help him once I found a safe place for you.
Your palms are sweating, Raymond. What's going on?
Nothing. Just a feeling I can't describe. Like a heavy weight. Maybe it's just that I didn't eat breakfast. If not for all this, we would be having communion right now, with Gerald and everyone else.
We'll have plenty of chances. Take a deep breath, Raymond. I'll be the one pulling you along now. This way. The rooms are all empty. No one will see us.
I'm fine. We're almost to the front door. The Laterans might hear us opening the door. We go right as soon as we're outside. The rocks and tall grass should provide cover. Are you ready? I pulled the latch. They ran right into them.
This is...
So that's why I had a feeling. Lateran troops. Stay behind me, Fortuna. Team 1 here. Sarkaz sighted at the front door. Ooh, excuse me. All right. Here we go.
Let's go.
Okay. I vaguely remember this stage.
Please, trust in me.
We need her.
You saw nothing.
It is your tyrannies that fuel this war.
Need speed to succeed.
Anything outside the plan, I'll judge for myself.
Which way is this guy going? He's going up there.
Ready to move. This hunt has dragged on for too long.
There's only the one, thankfully.
it positioning.
Where do you wish to go?
Oh no. Oh no.
Draw swords.
They'll be sleep. And what purpose do you think?
Relax. Now.
Oh no, no, no.
You saw nothing.
Let me create a diversion.
Oops, we lost that, so we're gonna have to redo that one. That was weird. Very, very
Retreat.
weird.
The curtain will cover your tracks.
Okay. Well, we're gonna need to get some healing out there. So I need Shu in the middle. I think that's how I did it before. So let's try that one again. Get those two out. Well, we're not gonna worry too much about that guy there.
You people.
Actually, what I think
don't think I'll even remember your faces after this one. Anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna put her there. We're just gonna worry about these people at the front here.
Don't make
There's
this
that.
harder than it needs to be.
There's Doggo.
Don't leave bloodstains. They're hard to clean.
I am Dublin.
Guy. Okay.
They'll be sleeping with the feet. They'll be sleeping. Let's put an end to this show. Pronto.
Bad luck. You ran into me.
Let's begin.
Okay.
Moving to
All right, we
designated
pull
location.
her. Not gonna worry too much about that right yet. 20, 21.
Got it. Shut up.
Spring breeze, timely rain. Now we sow the grain.
You saw nothing. Moving to designated location.
Okay, we're gonna get him to move around there.
I'm prepared. I am Dublin. Sow the mountains when summer leaves a white dew. Seed the plains when equinox paints.
Let's put an end to this show. Pronto.
Nope,
I'm
he's gonna go in the hole,
prepared
isn't he? Yep, alright, I screwed that up then. Darn it.
It's okay.
Alright,
fine.
alright, I have an idea here. Let me see, I don't remember how I did that one on my other account. Even though I'm currently farming that on my screen, I don't really remember how I did it. I know I deployed Reed right there. Okay, and I do see that. So,
Let's go.
let's drop Reed in there. 15, 16, 17. I think I worked him up here and I was able to get him to stay there. See, I had Mulesies up top. So him in place of Mulesies. So, what if I do, instead of Mulesies,
It is your tyrannies that fuel this
what if I do, you know what, I'm gonna do him anyways.
Than it needs to be.
Put Doggo Puss there. Let's hold on.
This will keep you quiet. Moving to designated location.
There'll be sleep. A valiant struggle, but you won't get away.
Okay. Okay, now I've got to block those.
In a long, long time.
And if I can, then I should be alright. This might be a temporary thing. Let's put Texas down here.
If you're really incapable, branch and bone bear weeds. Mounds and ruins bloom fields.
Got it.
Actually, if I do this, I should be able to pull her, put house it there, and monster here. Because then I can keep monster healed, and we've got those blocked. And now he can freely come around here. And he can make this loop without trouble.
They'll be sleepy. Let's put an end to this show. Pronto.
Alright, we got everybody covered.
Optimize your deployment.
Okay. So that guy's safe. Alright, now I can work on getting, like, Wishadel out.
Wow, looks monster. Damage the fire.
Whoa, am I gonna lose Shu? I am gonna lose Shu. Oh, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't, pal. Sorry. No, we don't.
Bad luck. You ran into me.
So you racked your brain and came up. Now, wait in line. We got plenty for everyone.
Oh.
What's the situation?
I don't remember how I did this stage. 17, 18.
Solid positioning.
And what purpose do you think your sacrifice will serve?
Well, that dude just broke my statue. Like it was nothing. Okay, we're gonna pull that.
Hold my hand tight and your breath with it.
Well, this is becoming my struggle stage.
Press
Okay. I need Logos and Wishadel out.
You people, I don't think I'll even remember your faces after this one. Anyway,
Still gonna put her out because we need the healing.
Let's begin.
Putting her there. I'll have to put Shu there.
We're fighting you guys. Then please do your best this job, or I'll be really bored.
Got it.
Anything outside the plan? I'll judge for myself.
Okay. Okay, we gotta be careful here.
This will keep you quiet.
See, if we attack them while they're not so, you know.
Ready to move. And what purpose do you think your sacrifice will serve?
Got it.
Wow, looks awfully dangerous. You call me out for
See if
this?
she'll help here.
You saw nothing.
I don't know if she will, but
Moving to designated location.
let's keep him good.
Where do you wish I am Dublin? The Revenant's battling again. Always so focused on the ground. But have you forgotten to look above?
Pass on your last words? No. Moving to designated location. Awaiting orders.
You can't stop me.
Ready to move. A valiant struggle.
Okay.
But you won't get away.
Spring
timely rain. Now we sow the grain.
Okay, we're doing all right now. But, okay. So we leave those holes open. That's helping. That's helping. Which is great.
If you're really incapable, branch and bone bear weeds, mounds and ruins.
Okay, come on.
Fields.
We can do this. We still got one more of those, but it's not going to help. If he makes it past there, he's going to lose anyways. So we need to charge this
Got it.
really well. We got to keep him down. 17.
Solid positioning.
Your lives now ignited.
21.
They'll be sleeping. And what purpose do you think your sacrifice will serve?
Show me what you got.
Full Pookie. Keep him healed. Okay.
You saw nothing.
Got that dude.
Moving to designated
Got him.
location.
Let's go. Whoo, yeah. Now that feels good. One to go, and then some story, baby. Good morning, Your Excellency. Good morning again, Jory. Please see to the others. Yes, Father. Father Abbot, Much has happened of late, Suro. I understand your unease. Should we have come? With those people from Laterano? It'll be all right. All who dwell in the Sancta Laminium Ambrosi are welcome in this chapel. That's how things have been for the last 10 years. Sit up front, Suro. Just like always. No need to worry. Laterans do not interrupt a communion in progress. Please, take your seats. Join me in a moment of prayer. Wait, listen, and feel the peace and tranquility. Tranquility. I am Stefano Torregrossa, Abbot of the Sancta Laminium Ambrosi. The words believer and kin are not used here. The mundane world has certain conceptions of the Sancta and the Sarkaz. Order and chaos, peace and war, angels and devils. We share the same conceptions. Our halos and horns are most distinctive features, symbols etched in the very essence of our life. Our existence alone draws the attention of others. Yet we have seen the sun rise and set thousands of times together, and we gather today to partake in communion, to share shelter and blessing. We have spent varying lengths of time here at the Abbey, but even the newcomers amongst us have been here for more than a decade. For a much longer time, we had no way of knowing whether we had abandoned or forgotten, whether we had been abandoned or forgotten. We did not know what perils the path ahead would hold, that we would meet at a fork of which no one could know. We had conflicts, we had secrets, but we tried to accept one another. We know the names and habits of everyone in this chapel. We shared food and sheltered one another from wind and rain. We fought beasts and bandits together. We built houses and paved roads together. We plowed fields and harvested together. We were brothers and sisters. We loved each other and treasured one another's peace and happiness as our own. The bonds that tie us went beyond any physical trait or telepathic connection. transcended any differences in faith or ideology. Yet after having endured the long night, it was the fleeting cold before the dawn that overcame us. The nuncios from Laterano, the executors, and emissaries from a distant realm. They all had their own plans, brought new hope, and forced painful choices. We lost our battered pillars to fire, and our respected and trusted brothers to conflict. Stefano Torregrossa sought that which was most good, even if the answer was an unproven one. For this, I seek your forgiveness. Sancta Laminium Ambrosi is not paradise, but it is our common home. I have faith that we will make the same choice. Now, I invite you to take the communion.
Does it hurt?
Could be worse.
Put on a brave face, but I can hear your teeth chattering.
The barrel of a rifle will never be worse than a bullet.
You can have one of those too if you want.
I can feel your seething anger. You're angry that I violated the purity of your faith. That proves your thinking as a Lateran. Your mission is to bring the Sancta Laminium Ambrosi back to Laterano, and to help those lost Lateran kin there. My mission is to preserve what makes Laterano, Laterano. Set your sentimentality aside, Lemuin. We're in agreement here.
Enough with your sophistry. Did you learn it from the Victorian nobles or Colombian merchants, Legatus Oren? I said it, the sudden appearance of beasts will frighten wanderers. I'm not going to stand by and watch a massacre happen.
The commandos will be in position any moment now. You can't stop me.
I can incapacitate you, then deal with them.
You may have surprised me once, but it won't work again. Not unless you actually put a bullet in my brain.
Is that so? Lemuin, Oren, don't tell me you're really going to...
Loud crack interrupts the exchange. Again, and then again, before anyone could react. So loud that it sounds like the patron firearm was being fired right next to their ears. They could not even hear their own heartbeats for a few seconds. The projectile leaves a long trail in the damp morning air. Dang! I'm Executor Federico of the Laterano Notarial Hall. That was a warning shot. Cardinal Aid Lemuin, Legatus Oren, and Technician Serpilia of the Sixth Tribunal, I command you to cease your pointless altercation at once. I see no need to understand your positions or mediate your conflict. The mission remains incomplete. Newly emerged factors continue to present a risk of escalation. This monastery needs order. If there is no contradiction between you, yet conflict remains unresolved, if empathy is not enough to prevent a community from disintegrating, then I will be order. That warning shot was also intended for the special forces outside. Lateran troops will not enter the Sancta Laminium Ambrosi without my express authorization. You were the one who deployed them, Oren. You will restrain them. Order them to pull back 1 kilometer and stand by. Lemuin and Serpilia, the two of you have been in contact with the Sancta and Sarkaz populations here. You will reassure them and prevent the situation from escalating. Meet me in the chapel once you have finished your task. Rochelle has uncovered a lead and is following it. I will find the one responsible for this situation. Dang! He took command like that! Robo! You will act now. He gives order! Let's go! Federico! He says, do as I say, now. Now I invite you to take communion. Guess I didn't make it in time. Michelle peeks through a gap in the door and sees the gathered crowd return to their seats with sacramental bread and wine. In the chancel, the aging abbot looks up towards the door, almost as though he is looking at Rochelle. Rochelle thinks for a moment, then closes the door. He thinks for another moment, then takes out a spare gun grip, which he uses to latch the door handle. Almost. All that's left is to wait for it to finish. Did Federico run into trouble? I guess I'm the only one taking care of things here now. What a chore. I should have taken the mission to search for the missing legatus in Sargon. It might have been a little far, but dealing with the people of the sand has got to be less complicated. Am I doomed to be a workaholic? Truly, our fate lies not in our hands. Let's see. Patron firearm in good working order. If everyone inside is 1 bullet per head enough? Don't tell me I'll have to use my fists. I should apply for paid leave once I get back to Laterano. The Notarial Hall had better approve it considering my workload. Ooh, 1 bullet per head, what?
Was utilized by you.
Ancestor launcher mission updated. I must have gotten the damage done with Wishadel. For her... What do you call it? Her... Yeah, that thing. Her module. Yes, so we got her damage done. Now I need to do Dark Knight's memoir, and then get those things to continue on. So, well, to continue on for getting her module. With that being said, though, let's collect our stuff and get on with this. All right, last stage, boss fight time. Onward and upward. There we go. All is prepared. Come matins. The people will take their final communion. Will your strings lament for me, or will they celebrate me? I am clueless about music, Arturia, just as I cannot understand you. Here you stand, and here I empathize with you. Yet you seem a total blank. I am more than free to perform according to your excellency's will. My music is but a mirror. A mirror? Huh. The elderly abbot lifts a porcelain tray, his hands quivering amidst the string's overtones. He appears as if wrestling with the sound that echoes through the dark, awaiting their end. He was still young when the sounds of paradise arose in the abbey years and years ago. So young that his reflection in the fountain did not yet show a single hair of white. Wild fowls were drawn to these roving soils, fluttering through skies rich with organ chords, flying for the square. In his old age, the last abbot handed the monastery down to him, Cleric Stefano, the youngest of them all. You must be their keeper, that they live in paradise. And how? How would I see them stay in paradise? Abbot Torregrossa shuts his eyes. Storied is his life. The strings continue to echo, echo, and then he lets his hands go. Ah, how painful. So this is your choice. From behind the sealed chapel entrance comes the muffled sound of speech. Federico stands in the spacious hall for a while, listening, then turns to walk upstairs. Equipment normal. The only loss has been 1 communicator. Current objective remains unchanged, proceeding the mission. Locked onto suspect. How are things in there? Communion should be over by now. Is it bad in there as I think? Signs point to yes. Damn. How's Federico? Unreachable. Church of the Deep doesn't breed pushovers or monsters. Does he know that? Someone needs to do the work. Status on Lemo and Serpilia? They got your message and went underground to investigate. Alright. That means the trickiest job of all is ours. Let's open up. Be where we may, and face what we may, it remains that we must respect each other in kind, care for each other in kind. Good morning, emissaries of the Holy City. The trays are empty. Rochelle, get every inhabitant under control. I'll handle the abbot. Is there something amiss, emissary? Amiss? Well, here's the thing. What's got you so down, Most Reverend Abbot? So insistent that Matins today has to be the final one? I'm pretty sure Lemoin's informed you that after you dock back up with Laterano, there's a real chance you'll continue serving as this monastery's abbot. Emissaries of Laterano, you question me. But on what basis? Excuse me. I have made my choice, renounced my vain hopes that all could be met with equal salvation. The monastery's course is run. On this final matins, may all our trays be empty. I have just delivered them the news. The Sanctimonium Ambrosi has agreed to return to Laterano.
Return to Laterano? Sir, don't tell me you thought we'd let the Church of the Deep off the hook.
I told you, my choice is made.
Oren, he's telling the truth. The inhabitants haven't shown any signs of change. I've examined the trains and they're clean.
Yes, I prepared the flesh of those monsters by my own hand and mixed it all into the bread. But though it was meant for matins, I locked it away in a cabinet underground, lest my starving people ingest it accidentally. Now that all this is left, that which you fear flourishes no longer. This is the key to the cabinet door. Take it. It is my plea. This will prove that what I say is true. Perhaps you will know better how to handle the Church of the Deep's givings.
Thank you for cooperating. Looks like my gun's resting easy today. What are you so sad about then? Come again? No, I'm just breathing out finally. We got the rough part over with. Work should be getting back on track now, right? Lemoine, catch what the abbot said? I'm bringing the key down now. You don't have to. Someone smashed the cabinet open. It's empty inside. Yellowing napkins, pottery shards all over the floor. All the details line up with the abbot's description. And looking at previous accounts, the consequences of eating this stuff are irreversible. If he'd made them partake already, he wouldn't need to lie to us anymore. Which means someone's gone and thieved his little Eucharist. We have to find them immediately. Finding one person in an abbey this big may be a tall order. It's hitting me. I think we've all forgotten a few things. For one, Gerald heard about how that Sankta girl fell, and that dealt him a huge shock. But we would have never let any word out about the falling. How did Gerald learn of it? For another, just what was the deal with that fire in the sacrarium? Without someone else's encouragement, the abbot might not have been so dogmatic either. After all of this, I've got a bad feeling our abbot's not alone in his despair. When Fortuna went to the chapel, I remember somebody else was in there.
So this is the abbot's choice. Not that it hasn't crossed my mind before that things would ultimately turn out this way. He is kind-hearted, so kind-hearted that he strove to this day, embracing such lofty ideals, and in turn, he lost to weakness at the very last moment. But I am not like him. It was long, long ago that I gave up hope. Who gave up hope?
Oh, a guest. I have to say, I'm a little surprised. I gave you fair warning, but I thought with all your rational, logical judgment, you'd conclude that there are other matters of higher priority to handle, or something like that.
Federico founder. He founder.
How long has it been since we last met, Federico? 5, maybe close to 6 years? Aren't you going to say discontinue this meaningless speech, fugitive Arturia? Or do you finally plan to switch to a different greeting? Why not go back to those days when you lived with me, then, and call me Soror? Oh, and you're still not angry. The first instant you came through the door and saw me, you didn't even make a move. That's unlike you. Let me take a guess at why you're so out of sorts then. Are you waiting for something? Or are you hesitating? Listen, sounds of all kinds fill this little monastery. Sorrow, pain and suspicion, resentment and despair.
all woven together, more exquisitely touching than any man-made melody could ever be. Ah, how very curious, Federico Giallo. Have you felt anything? Is there any note out there that can dance within your brain, the one so different to how normal people think?
Fugitive Arturia, I have fully assessed your words and actions. My present priority to address is not you. The question is, how hefty is her control over everything? I don't know. I'm curious, but she's obviously part of the problem.
You aren't in the chapel, Signor Federico. I thought you and your colleagues all had your eyes fixed on the Most Reverend Abbot.
You are the prevailing suspect in this series of abnormalities. Ha 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 ha! It's Clement! Interesting.
I honor His Excellency's choice. We all respect him, love him. This was always the way it would be, for we are all under His Excellency's wing. It's simple to understand, isn't it? When every cause sees you expelled from the cities, and your only choice is to roam the wastes, and you've become sure your end lies in death. When your stomach groans with hunger, and all you ever find is despair, no matter where you walk. And eternity seems to have you trapped in the land that eats of man. That's when past gentle hill, and over the rock you enter a canyon. You see a building past the dust, a building that could dare to be a city, where its people bring you food and let you stay in a room for the night. Yes, there is only meager grit like bread and a bowl of watery soup. Yes, there are cracks in the walls of the rooms, forever in need of repair. But you have not died in the wastes. You have been admitted.
And that is why some of you call this place paradise.
Paradise. Yet it was a sham. Not long after I arrived here, I found that a Sarkaz friend of mine who'd caught oropathy had vanished from my side. I spent an age searching for her, only to find she was here all along, in a room in the basement. They say it used to be a training room. Its walls are sturdier than all. It's to that room where they send the deathly ill.
Improvised protective equipment cannot obstruct the propagation of originium dust with any effectiveness.
We didn't have any other way. Maybe you want to tell me how the sick could decide in their own final moments to leave the monastery and go out into the wastes alone to wait for death to take them. We can only bury this pain out of sight and cover our ears and turn not to look. We could never save anybody. There's no one who could save us. But even this facade of serenity is waiting to be shattered in the end. And here we are. You've come.
Our mission here is to maintain order.
Of course. It wasn't any of you that destroyed our life here. After all, it simply and naturally came to the way it is now. As a matter of course. And no matter how carefully I tend to the flowers I plant, when it's time for them to wilt, they will transform in invisible measures until they're beyond recognition. It's all the same.
You've been affected by Arturia.
You mean Signora Arturia's music? Perhaps. In them, I often hear recollections of these things. But she's never been a part of our lives. I know. She simply takes our distress, our suffering, as ornaments for her leisure. And so, how could she ever go far enough to disturb our wills, to make these choices for us?
Dangerous articles detected. You have concealed a large quantity of flammables beneath this sacrarium. No, this entire monastery.
Yes, it was a possible alternative. Whether you came or not, the tranquil life of this monastery was never going to last. Have you seen what hunger and fear of wandering the barrens can drive people to, Signor Federico? I have. Before things reach the point of no redemption, I will end it all.
Clement Dubois, you are a suspect in the destruction of the Sancta Laminium Ambrosi and are involved in multiple cases that concern or have concerned the rights of Lateran citizens.
You have been confirmed an executorial target by the Notarial Hall. In accordance with regulation, I will immediately proceed to apprehend you. Federico never gives more warning than needed. The gun in his hand simply serves the place of speech. Clement has not collapsed. The wasting man clutches at his arm where all feeling is lost and gives a bitter smile. Destruction of lighter confirmed. Why won't you kill me? Why go to the bother of aiming for the lighter? Your actions have not directly led to the deaths of any Lateran citizens. The law would not sentence you to death. The law. So many years I've lived here, hearkening to His Excellency's guidance following your law. I feel its bind in ordinary times, yet in chaos, in the time we need it most, it disappears without a trace. There was some point where the music of Signora Artoria became all I could even hear. Signor Federico, is it the law of Laterano that wants to save me? Or is it you yourself? Here we go. I may lose this a couple times. This is a pain. I had to look up a tutorial when I played it on my other account. But
You people.
there's a lot of timing and stuff involved. A couple of these guys just run off.
Anyway, let's just get started.
Let's begin. Got it.
All right,
Anything
we're gonna
outside
put
the
out
plan?
Doggo
Or
Post
just
here.
for myself.
Okay.
Awaiting order.
Okay, we gotta close that one. I'm gonna do this.
Looks awfully dangerous. You call me out for this?
Texas will take care of him, okay.
Please.
Put her
trust in
there.
me. So you racked your brain and came up with a plan of plopping me here. So you racked your brain and came... Always so focused on the ground. But have you...
Okay.
Can't stop me.
Gotta be careful. Okay, we're gonna put her
breeze,
there.
Timely rain. Now we sow the grain. You sow
Take this guy out here.
If you're really incapable of, I'll plant you into the soil to grow anew.
Okay. Let Texas finish this guy off. There's an attack speed slowdown here. That's a debuff. Okay, I can pull her.
No. Got it. Cut them to pieces.
Okay. Gotta be careful. We're gonna hold off because he's gonna switch things here again. There's a switch to these to the upper ones, and when that happens, we can cover these. Yep, and he just switched them, so we do that.
Ready to move. This hunt has dragged on for too long.
Close that one.
You sow me.
Take those guys out. You know what? I just put Pookie there for now. Having somebody there to cover is a good idea, but
Moving to designated location.
okay.
For them,
I'm not exactly
for their
sure.
tools.
Where we're at in terms of
If you're really, I'll plant you into the soil to grow anew. This will
see, he
keep you quiet.
randomly does this too.
Waiting for your call. Morning star. The illumination of wisdom.
Monster. With me.
We need to cover that one. In which,
You can
Luki,
go
you
do
stay
something
there.
else.
Awaiting order. You can't stop me.
And then I need to get Monster out there. I think I can
wasn't
pull
supposed to
her.
act,
Put Monster here.
Ready to move. A valiant
We're doing good
struggle,
so far.
but you won't get away.
I think we're okay
Optimize
right
your
now.
constant. This will keep you quiet.
Pick Texas there for a second.
Moving to designated
I can actually pull
location.
her because that'll go down in the hole now. And it won't affect them. All right.
Got it. Cut them to pieces.
I'm prepared for lives. Now ignited.
What's the situation? Awaiting.
Bad luck.
Okay, cover.
Moving to designated
I'm
location.
doing better than I expected. Get ready. Come on, Logos.
For your call.
Pick it up and go.
Soul Ring. The fairy of the other
Toast.
side.
Toast. Toast.
The Revenant's battling again.
You'll be sleeping.
Poor little
She worked
guy.
good out front, but
It's your
didn't have to worry about
unlucky day.
anything there. You're toast, buddy. And they're going, let's go, I did it in one shot here. It's just a matter of blocking those things in a way. And I tried so many times just focusing on attacking the enemies the first time I played that on my other account, and it just wasn't working. So, and I'll put a link in the description to it, but I used KyostinV's strategy. It was a metal strategy, 3-star strategy, something like that. But I used one of his videos to learn the placement and kind of the timing. And obviously the first thing to do was, he was like, put out a flag vanguard. So he put out Myrtle, but I used Texas. So I put Texas in the corner there. And then it's just a matter of kind of covering the top, blocking that one lane, and doing some things a little bit differently. And of course, I didn't follow it to a T, and you guys will see that if you watch his video. Again, I'll link that in the description for you. But yeah, that was a ton of fun when I figured out how to do it, because I was getting so frustrated. I'm like, why am I not getting this? I'm either losing the people or I'm leaking guys through. And I'm like, what is going on with my placement? And when I watched his, I understood the concept of the stage a little better, because I also wasn't noticing all the cues with Clement. I wasn't noticing the debuffs or buffs. Well, rather debuffs to the operators. Every time he does a debuff, you can't obviously attack Clement directly, so that does nothing. And I wasn't noticing like the changes between the rock deployers, you know, when they would shift and change and stuff like that. So that was a huge difference. And watching his video really helped me to understand that, and to get the placement down. The placement was key in order to move on with that. But no matter what, we got it taken care of. And the fact that I was able to kind of remember the gist of it and beat this on the first time, I'm very, very happy with that. So let's go ahead and finish up with the last bit of story for the end of HE-8, and then our epilogue. Here we go. We should have something to look forward to in life. It's a funny thing to say out loud. Isn't it granted, after all? If we don't expect the slightest thing out of life, then why are we endowed with life, born into this world anyway? It can't be just to suffer, can it? You see, children don't think about such strange questions. Oh, childhood, how carefree were your days. Only when we've left it behind can we appreciate its worth. For our adolescence and our prime, the same thing goes, filled with worries, moment to moment, yet in time, you look back and wonder to yourself what those little worries even meant. Back then, we had strength we could never use up. We always wanted to do something or other. We always believed life would get better. And so we were earnest. And so we strove to live. How strange. Wasn't everything meant to get better? It's hard to say at what point it happened. My eyes are skipping over stuff weirdly tonight. I apologize. It's hard to say at what point it happened, but it was like I'd lost the vigor to long for the future. Narrower grew the spaces that could accommodate me. Thinner grew the air that could give me breath. Now my life was heavy, and I could see the end of it, and it had hope no more. As if a stone rolling down a mountain. And you can see, and I can see, it's never going to stop. It'll just fall and fall and fall. Until it's shattered apart. Flowers. They're all gone. Do not step forward. This part of the building has suffered repeated structural damage. It has a high degree of instability. Clement, come back! No, Signor Federico. I need to look one more time. You previously stated that the flower you are looking for is not here. I did. I just wanted to check. All the flowers are dead. And not one, not a single one, had the luck to be saved. I'm unable to analyze your behavior. I am unable. I planted these flowers myself to stand for friendship and hope. But they stopped caring about those things long ago. Nobody follows the flowering seasons anymore. They forgot the one thing, above all, they shouldn't forget. Isn't it ridiculous? How could some suspect Raymond of the fire, just because he's a Sarkas? After living beside each other for so long, the harder the times, the closer we should come together. So His Excellency says, the harder the times, the closer we should become to... The harder the times, the closer we should come together. So His Excellency says, I want like nothing else to believe him. And by all rights I should. But the truth is placed before me, and I can't turn my head away. Why do barriers never cease to be? Is mankind doomed never to understand one another? The tiniest chaos is enough to shatter the order. The moment confusion envelops, people begin to hurt one another. Enough. I've put up with it for long enough. Clement staggers his way before the holy statue, scorched in the fire. No second lucky flower is there, only an old wooden tray holding a few slices of driest bread. A staff of life somewhat strange in scent. Into his mouth it goes, and he chews. It is a faint brininess with a flavor as astringent as the tides. Disgusting. Clement, put down that object. Put it down. No. Last night, I was intending to go to confession, but ended up overhearing the abbot's plan. It made me think, surely, at least Gerald and his people didn't need to take part. They were about to leave anyway, weren't they? But why did it all turn out this way? I'll eat of this until it's gone. You are not doing this to prolong your own life. Why are you still attempting to change? I just want an answer. I want to know if there's any being in this forsaken world that can save us. Federico knows he must stop the man before him right now. But in fact, he stands there, rooted in place. Just a few steps outside, Artoria begins to bow her cello, strings cutting through Quietus's curtain. The sentiments within, Federico does not grasp, and never tries to grasp. But for the very first time, the executor cannot help his own actions. He begins to lose his understanding of himself. Why? Why did he not act the very moment he saw the other party? Why, despite this feeble man consuming a thing that turns people into monsters, has nothing happened at all? The song rises, key rested up by one note. Between notes, the silence that disperses seems a mocking joke. Is this blood? So what? This is it. What's the point without? Respiratory rate quickening. It is possible that the blunt force trauma that caused your bleeding is your lower respiratory tract or lungs. If steps are not taken, it may lead to suffocation. You require prompt medical treatment. Until then, I will perform first aid on you. Oh. Clement covers his mouth with his hands, tries to stifle the sound of his coughing as hard as he can. Man. But still the blood spills forth from his palms, with a discomforting viscosity dripping down along the creases in his fingers. He staggers backwards and stumbles to the ground before the statue. The graven image he burned almost seems now to accept them once more, murderer bereft of strength that he is. Its broken arms fall to either side as if in gentle embrace. Clement feels a wave of peculiar warmth. Huh. Look at me. Aren't I entirely all right? So even this turned out to be false. The abbot was made a fool of. There's no God out there. 2-8 originates from some kind of oceanic detritus. It is exceedingly probable to have induced mutation on the physiological level, but it has never had anything to do with the god you speak of. Ridiculous. You're in terrible condition. If you continue to worsen at your present rate, you will enter shock and the risk of death will be enormous. Really, that's just not bad. If you wish to leave any last will or testament, I am able to serve as your executor nominate. Will? No. I don't have anything to leave. Lateran, our paradise is a lie. Your faith is hollow. Any friendship, faith, hope, future, it's all gone. No one can really be saved. No one can truly find redemption. Is this a sort of choice? Is this some kind of happy ending? The executor stands there and moves no further forward. Beyond the touch of anything or anyone, all his tribulations gradually fade away. The weary gardener finally closes his eyes. Still the lingering sound echoes. Still I can feel it. A shake from the strings to my fingertips in the final moment. A last note so sharp it could tear skin. Yet at the outset, that melody was calm as a babbling brook. Someone otherwise so ordinary used his own life to prove one thing, that there is no such thing as a savior. His unyielding mind triumphed over his own changing flesh. Such beautiful music. This is the spirit of mankind, tenacious and free, of a timber whose lamentable sea creatures could never know. This song will bring his story to all. They will understand his feelings, exalt his determination, and sing praise of his courage. Clement Dubois will be remembered forevermore. Wouldn't you say so, Federico? I was expecting you'd stay there a while longer. After all, you seem to care greatly about the man who died. You even thought his affairs were higher priority than capturing me. Federico, have you learned compassion? Or are you still as you were, unable to discern the emotions others feel, estranged from the crowd? Fugitive Arturia, your Originium arts have once again induced the death of another. I cannot ignore the greatest threat within my firing range. Per the laws of Laterano, your sentence will be extended again. It was his will to seek death. Even had I not performed, he would still take his path. Time after time, I simply shed light on the scars across those poor people's hearts. And what do bystanders do but turn and look away? Are you stung by his experiences, just as others are? Federico, you still can't make sense of uncontrollable urges even now, can you? Just as the abbot persists along his path of thorns. Just as I cannot help but want to perform the emotions of others.
Oh, excuse me. I certainly cannot make sense of them. Whether I do or not, it has no impact on my implementation of the law. But I proceeded to the sacrarium so that Clement would earn his rightful treatment. He was not worthy of death.
Oh, you wanted to save a man who intended to destroy himself. Haven't you realized? That's not a notion logic would fit at all.
Clement said that once a flaw, imperfection, or wound manifests in something seemingly perfect, it is broken beyond repair. I will test the accuracy of this statement.
You have become just a little more amusing, Federico. But only that little bit. Perhaps come next we meet. That's when I'll be able to play your mind. Sadly, it's time I wrap this trip up.
Oh. So the Kurfürsten's... okay. Interesting. Excuse me. Might you be Frau Arturia?
I've been waiting for you.
My apologies. We were the ones who extended an invitation to you as our guest. And yet I was late to arrive. Finding this place was an ordeal. Have I perhaps come at a bad time? Federico! Man, oh man. I look at this scene and my brain is a pretzel. Federico, how did it happen that you faced off with Arturia? Good morning, Heron of Lateran. Good morning. Gnadisch, Frau? Federico, her coat of arms is one of the Kurfürsten, the Principus Electoris. You can't make a direct move against Arturia right now. Laterano-Latanian ties would be at risk. I refuse your suggestion.
Are you done talking it over? Actually, how about, Federico, I give you one chance. If you want to point your gun at me, then this is where you want to aim.
The black-haired woman clasps the executor's tense gun hand in her own. She presses the muzzle against her own forehead.
Just pull the trigger, and your bullet will pierce my skull. And from then on, I would never bother you again. Federico, do you want to do that? Why don't you give it a try?
I'm required to arrest fugitives. If the situation does not necessitate, then shooting to kill is generally not advised. But your argument is extremely rational. What are you? Listen to me! This could be an international incident! Hold on, Oren. I don't think things are that serious. No, she will be fine. You do not understand this woman.
I'm only playing a little game.
Frau Arturia, is this some kind of applied arts? Even so, what you just did was far too dangerous.
Thank you for your concern. I'll be cautious next time. Should there be one. Federico, think of this as a clue from me to you. Have you ever felt like there's a performance that never ends, but you just can't hear it? That until its grandest, most wonderful passages, everyone is deaf to it? Well then, the music is over, and it's time I went on my way again. Herrschaften of Laterano, auf Wiedersehen.
If you'll excuse us. So she is a guest of Litanian. So basically this ends, and where she heads off now, she's riding with them, and that's kind of, if I'm not mistaken, that's a scene at the beginning of Zwillingstern, that she is riding with a group, or like on her way or something and playing, and then she ends up in Litanian and whatnot, and he arrives chasing her down. So kind of strange. You're actually just gonna stand there and let them go? I thought it'd at least take Rochelle and me at the same time to hold you back. You were extremely noisy. But yeah, it's strange to see that, and to see exactly where it ends and then where Zwillingstern picks up. That's as far as her story goes. That's cool. What? Hey, Federico, where are you going? He's headed for the area by the clock tower. If I remember right, that's where the Abbey Cemetery is?
All right, no more gawking. All's well that ends well. Plus, we've still got things to do. Signor Federico? Signora Artoria? They're gone. It's okay. Let's go look somewhere else. Eep! Why is there a man lying down there? Shh, he's asleep. We shouldn't wake him up. Oh, I know who this man is. He grows really pretty flowers. Same kind as Mama. Always brings home to put in the vase. What are you doing, Sarah? You know Mama gave us that. But he might catch a cold sleeping here. Mama said good kids learn to be appreciative? You mean appreciative? Okay, we'll let him borrow it for a bit then. Once he wakes up, I hope he'll keep growing heaps and heaps of pretty flowers. Yeah, I'm sure of it. Ooh, excuse me.
Your face just now.
All right.
It seems the expression
So we finished
flocked together is indeed true.
that. Now to do the final story bit. Here we go. Let's finish this off. Hey, Wingman! I'm talking to you! Hey, come back! Assuming that Wingman is an epithet for Sankta, there are multiple individuals who fit that name. I'm talking to you! I know your name is Federico. Very well. You really know how to piss people off, don't you? I don't have time for your crap. That guy, Oren, he said that Gerald, for us, for me and Fortuna. Is it true? Is Gerald really? Yes, Gerald is dead. Now that you answered, I'm starting to wish you didn't. I don't get it. How could it be? I'm sorry, but this is a fact. What are you sorry about? Keep your distance, Wingman. Close your eyes, don't look at me. That thing on your head is way too bright, it hurts my eyes. I just need a second to adjust. Very well. Gerald gave you his knife. Choice was his. It's not my place to argue. But I can't let you take it away. You have to know what it means to take the weapon of a sarcasm mercenary. It means carrying on the legacy of his name. Yes, that's why I'm going to take it back from you, along with Gerald's name and his honor. I challenge you. You won't win. I have to. As long as I draw breath, I'll find you and challenge you. Don't you dare underestimate me. I refuse your challenge. How dare you? I'm challenging you to an honorable... Gerald was a mere hunter. There is no legacy to inherit in this knife. What do you mean? Exactly what I said. If you want a knife that inherited the name of a sarcasm mercenary, I have never been in possession of one. You're wasting your time challenging me. If you want the knife of Gerald the Hunter, then yes, I am currently in possession of it. Why, you... Do you want it? Burn beast dung. This was Gerald's treasure. He wouldn't never let me take it just like that. You keep it safe. You just wait. I'll lead my people to find a new path, just like Gerald did. I'll come back for it when I've earned it. Very well. I will keep it safe until then. Setting up for a future meeting. Raymond. Stop gawking. I think he can take it. What about you? You said you couldn't hold a gun anymore. Are you praying with it? Yes. I have a feeling it will answer me again. Can I still use it, Serpilia? Why not? It may be a little old, but you can trust my handiwork. I used to study antique guns, you know? Lately, though, finding new things a little more interesting. Do new things scare you at all? There's no point being scared. One wants to learn more in spite of fear. Besides, somebody once told me that techniques exist to be used. I didn't understand at the time, but now I understand a little. I'm a craftsman, and I'm responsible for the weapons I craft. Well, set that aside for a bit. What about you? Are you ready to leave with the sarcasm? How did you know what I was going to say? No empathy needed to guess your thoughts. It's not such a big deal when you put it that way, is it? You wouldn't come looking for me at this hour with that solemn look on your face if you were planning to come back to Laterano. Sorry. I promised to come quietly and accept the punishment I deserve, but now I'm trying to run away. So, will I let you go? Take a guess. Your whole deal here is kind of a headache. You'll have to wear a hood all the time if you live in Laterano. I see. I guess that won't work. Not that it'll be much better anywhere else. You'll need to hide your horns, your appearance, and your gun. And I'll still be your warden. You'll have to keep in touch with me, no matter where you go, as long as you live. You won't cause me any trouble, will you? Wait. You're letting me go? Won't you get into trouble for that? Worst case scenario, I quit my job at the Curia. That was a joke. It's true that I'll have some reports to write when I get back. I'll think about whether to get started on a resignation letter after that. Anyway, you owe me more than a pizzelle now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Are we still kin? Does it matter? You're not getting off the hook, kin or not. I want those pizzella next time I see you.
Want her into giving her some food just to let her go. Yeah.
The convoy is almost here. The Abbey can start moving once it's refueled. Well, this was a tricky case, even though the location wasn't that far from Laterano. I think I should borrow a bed at the Abbey and get some rest. I didn't see you do anything particularly tiring, Rochelle. Weren't you pretending that you didn't know anything? Or should I thank you for not being lazy enough to dump all the evidence linked to the Church of the Deep into the sewers? Don't be so uptight, Oren. I'm sure Federico remembers the Sarkaz mercenaries dossier better than I do, and you and Lemuin are definitely more familiar with the Church of the Deep cases than I am. Plus, don't you think we're starting to get along a little bit after you gave up empathy? Why are you bringing that up? No reason. Just sometimes it's better to know less about a guy, like how you have to close one eye when you shoot. Just to make it clear, though, I took Lemuin's instructions about confirming whether the Abbey had anything to do with the Church of the Deep seriously. At the end of the day, I suppose we can all sleep better at night. You're lucky. Or should I say we're lucky. The monastery gets the supplies it needs to return to Laterano. The disruption to the inhabitants was minimal. The fallen girl is gone with the Sarkaz. Laterano will be able to find her, and the Sarkaz if need be. Laterano's image has not been materially affected. Things don't turn out so well every day. I prayed for a smooth trip to Laterano, safe from bandit attacks. We should be fine once we get to Laterano. I hope so. The emissaries from Laterano don't look like they've ever been hungry, and their clothes are brand new. I envy them. How do they plant their crops? Or do they give everyone a gun to hunt with? Who knows? I can't imagine. I can't imagine what I would do with my time if I didn't have to spend all my time fixing houses and making tools. I'm trembling, and I can't tell whether it's from excitement or fear. Let's pray our faith will protect us. Well, we did our best, didn't we? As for whether things will turn out well in the end... Do you know where Mama went? A child? I thought everyone was gathered up here. Mama's not here, but she came back last night. Yeah, Mama brought us a gift last night. We lent it to a sleeping man. Sleeping? He was sleeping really deep. He must have been having a nice dream. Abbey built upon a mobile plate, moving again after being stranded for a decade, almost becoming one with the land. An impressive sight, the convergence of destruction and rebirth. Yes, you seem troubled. Do tell if you feel unwell. Your transformation is yet incomplete. The path ahead will be laborious. I'm fine. The Laterans treat those children well. I believe so. The sitting pope is known for moderation and benevolence. They will likely be taken in by foster parents and grow up in Laterano. Traveling with the fallen angel, and with the eyes of Sankta from the Curia on them, it is unlikely that your kin will face any retribution. I'm glad to hear that. Only one thing, Bishop Alice. They're not my kin anymore. If that is what you think, then that is what it will be. The stranded paradise is no more. It is time for us to set out. Once again, we welcome you, Hyman. Things aren't quite done with her. What are your plans? Sinners cannot be choosers. You may have had the intention to cause harm, but at the end of the day, you didn't do any real damage. Personally, I see no problem, but Velev might be a little stricter where Iberia is concerned. It doesn't seem like you're very happy with that answer. I apologize for the discourtesy I showed, Reverend Nuncio. I sense your sincerity. I accept your apology. But I also sense that it's not what you really want to say. It's not an easy thing, judging oneself. It is the truth that I fell to despair and knelt before the malice in my heart. What is more deserving of punishment? Harm caused out of benevolence, or malice not put into action? To me, it's the former. An idea could be fleeting, or it could take root silently, biding its time. How could you know that this is simply the result of a single moment of weakness? What would this place be like if I chose another path? I can't say that I've purged the caprices from my mind. I can't even say that I still believe in our laws. But you still feel it, don't you? Yes, I do. Every waking moment I prayed that the people would be given their due. Prayed that this little corner of paradise would not slip through my fingers. But I've waited for so long. Too long. So long that I began to doubt that the very existence of faith was simply a self-imposed conceit. How does it feel? Despair, fear, sorrow. What else? The feeling of incredulity. How do we doubt something that exists in one's own mind? It means you've begun to doubt yourself with terrible consequences. If one is unable to dispel the doubt, if even faith could be false, then how much of Stefano is real? I wanted to understand. I tried to understand, but I overestimated myself. We can never truly understand another. Understanding remains precious, fleeting, even with the incredible power of empathy. But having experienced so much, I've begun to think that there are many emotions that can be communicated from one to another, and understood by most, even without the empathy. At least, I can say that I've begun to understand the thoughts of a certain individual, not because I sense something, but because I have experienced it myself. I offer this to you, Bishop Stefano. It's the notebook of a cleric who spent some time here. I thought you might find it interesting. Perhaps just like you, he had many questions and many troubles. You asked me about my plans. I plan to return to Laterano, but not with the others. You mean you want to travel from here to Laterano by yourself? At your age? Please don't stop me. I must know. I must rediscover my faith. If there comes a day when I atone for my sins, if there's truly such a thing as miracles, perhaps I will find my Laterano then. In that case, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you find your answer, Father Stefano. We will meet again in paradise. The old man says no more. Age has taken its toll on him, as have the ordeals of last night. The lines of age fill every gap on his face. Before Lemoin's eyes, Stefano Torregrossa walks out the door, his back slightly hunched. Executor Federico reporting in. As previously reported, the two nuncios are confirmed alive and well. They are expected to return to their posts in Laterano soon. Plans are in place for Sancta Laminium Ambrosi to resume movement, setting a course for Laterano's outskirts. It is expected to arrive at its destination before spring next year. A request for supplies has been made to the Curia to ensure reliable mobility and to meet the everyday needs of the inhabitants. 41 of the 153 inhabitants of the monastery will depart the abbey. Serpilia will track and report on their subsequent movements. The sarcasm you mentioned. I must admit my surprise, even though I had a hunch. Whether it was the state of the abbey, the movements of the Church of the Deep, or Arturia. You've done well, Federico. I failed to meet your expectations. Our intervention destabilized the situation at the abbey. There were 3 casualties. You have doubts, my child. Yes. I can rectify a wrong if I see it. I know many ways of stopping a sinner. But at no point during this mission was there a clear course of action. Why was the result suboptimal if no error was committed? Are our laws suitable for all circumstances? If not, on what do I base my actions? That is where my doubts lie. I don't have an answer for you, Federico, because this is a question that troubles me as well. But I'm happy that you're beginning to ask these questions. I don't understand. There is no need to be anxious. You're beginning to ask questions that you've never considered before. Is that not a big step forward? It's like pulling the cork from a bottle of fine wine. The hardest part is over. All that is left is to pour out what you want. I'm going out to visit a friend, one that you're not unfamiliar with. I'll take your question to him and share with you the answer he offers. A friend you're not unfamiliar with. Who could he be referring to? The towering statue is silent. The rays of the morning sun pour in. The executor ends the call and looks up. Interesting. The aging Sankta's silhouette begins to fade into the morning sun as he slowly walks away. As she sees him off, Lemoine gets a feeling that she has not seen the last of the old man. As he said himself, perhaps he will find the Laterano that he is looking for. Very interesting ending. Very, very interesting ending. Let's go ahead and pick that up there. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and wrap this up with a quick chat about that story. Okay, so where do we even begin? Just as I thought, that story from where we were last time took its point. It's like rounding point. We were coming to that point, and then all of a sudden, bam, everything just hit in the end, just as I thought. And what's crazy about it is there seems to be like an overarching theme now that I see in the end of multiple faces to the human mind, to the human person. Like, for instance, we see that right away at the beginning. We see that with Serpilia playing two sides of the coin. She's with them, but she's also got a mission with Orin. So she's got two little things going on. Then Rochelle, our insider, gets drug into it. Obviously, Federico isn't. He's all one thing, and he's all like unable to really comprehend and understand the way people do things, and he's all straight for logic. Arturia is only herself, you know. We got characters like that don't exhibit that behavior. But then we've got the stuff with the bishop himself, with Stefano, and how he is one way to all these people. But then behind the scenes, he had everything going on. His other face was appearing with the Reverend from the Church of the Deep, and then with stuff with Clement and with the Sarkaz and stuff like that he was hiding. And then Clement himself had two faces in the sense of the outer one that he put on to show everybody the kind and gentle person that he was with the flowers and everything. But then behind the scenes, he was planning and plotting the whole time. He said it to Federico that he never thought this peace and things would last. He planted these explosives or whatever, these things that he was going to trigger with his lighter to set fire to the sacrarium and burn everything. There was a lot going on. A lot of characters that really showed multiple faces or showed their true colors at certain times. There's a weird overarching theme of that. And I kind of see why they did that the way they did, because again, Zwillingsturm came after this. And this kind of played into that in that sense, because the whole theme of Arturia, playing people's emotions, bringing out their true colors or showing their true selves, and she talks a lot about that in the Zwillingsturm event. So there's a lot of odd stuff with that happens. I'm not exactly sure
how to label that other than, yeah, it was something a lot more different than I expected it to be in the end. But again, Federico towards the end started to exhibit some change and some interesting stuff as well. Not so much change, and again, he was still himself, but it was like he was starting to pick up on some things that were making him question his beliefs, his values. And again, he talked to Pope Evangelista about that. But overall, Federico is still Federico. There's no change in that. It's just he's trying to comprehend it all by logical means and understand it all and answer these questions that plague him. But he just hasn't found the way to do so yet. So that's a growth and a character development in him. But in the end, we come to find out that Clement was behind a lot of it, that while some things were leading to the bishop, that in the end, he didn't take action with the stuff that he was going to. The Sarkaz themselves were pretty much just innocent. They were just there for the ride. They came for shelter. They stayed. Gerald put behind the mercenary life, and he helped them by hunting and providing and doing what he could for the people. The others would sew clothes and blankets and things for the cold months, and they did what they could to help as well. Everybody in this community helped in different ways, and it really just went to show that you can't really judge that book by its cover. And I think Federico found that out very quickly and very easily. And he started to see some of the other stuff going on. But bit by bit, the story came together. Now, the only thing that I was kind of confused with was the whole subplot with Oren, and he was another one with, playing his part to get in there and then starting his stuff with trying to get these 50 men and trying to attack and take over in a hostile way. There was stuff with him that was weird. But the whole plot with him, subplot with him and Serpilia and then Rochelle, just really, I don't know. It kind of felt in a way anticlimactic until that point where Federico showed up and just started, he fired off the warning shots and started barking orders. You're telling him to stand down and this and that. And he told Lemoine and Serpilia what to do and gave them all their marching orders, so to speak. Up until that point, it just felt like there was stuff there that was going on, but it just didn't feel like it was really of major importance. It was there. And to a point, we felt the pressure of it, of the potential Sankta invasion, those 50 men coming in and possibly wiping out the Sarkaz. We felt a little bit of that pressure, but it just really didn't feel like a real threatening part. So that's probably, to me, the weakest part of this story, just because when everything's said and done, in a way, it almost sounded like it was going to be something that, this was going to be difficult to think about, to maintain, that, this was a, how do I put it? It's a subplot, but at the same time, it sounded like it was something where they were acting in ways that they could potentially get in trouble with Laterano, but then in the end, it just feels like they're not going to get in trouble for anything that they were doing. It's like everything's justified in a way. I don't get that much of it. So that to me is kind of where the weak point of the story lies. But the main plot and following the stuff with Stefano and with Clement and the Sarkaz themselves, Federico's journey, Arturia's involvement, that all was a pretty interesting and pretty strong story to leap us into Zwillingstern and where things spread out from there with Litanian and Laterano, because again, in the end of that, Laterano comes into play again, not just with, Federico's involvement throughout the whole story of Zwillingstern, but at the end where Laterano receives that next premonition or prediction in regards to an upcoming disaster, warning Litanian and stuff, and trying to work together with the world on stopping whatever it is. And the other thing that was really interesting was Arturia's involvement. We didn't really see a ton of her. And at the beginning, it was like, okay, she's there, but what's she doing? Like, she's talking to Stefano. She's talking to a couple of the others. I believe she talked to Aulus at one point, the bishop from Church of the Deep. And she talked to, obviously, the children. it was strange because it was like she was there, but at first she wasn't doing anything to manipulate anybody or to cause any problems. And then towards the end, we got to see more. We saw a bit more towards the very end. And in some ways, it was kind of inferred that, she was messing a little bit with people's emotions with how she was playing and what she was doing. But in the end, it really there wasn't anything concrete to tie her to it. There wasn't anything there that said, oh yeah, she was part of it, that she was causing problems. And we know, obviously, that she's a fugitive of some sort. But right at the last minute, the servant of the Kyrgyzstan showed up. The Spirecaster showed up to take her to Laterano. And they couldn't really do anything. So, she's gone. And that's where the story begins for Svillingster. Very, very interesting story overall. A lot of cool stuff to break down and to think about. But in the end, I like this as the catalyst and the leaping point for that story. So, I enjoyed it. But, guys, that is it for it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you played it, what your strong points, weak points of the story may have been. If you went through the whole story, or if you didn't do the story, or you at least did the stages, let me know what you thought of the stages and what you thought of the mechanic. That, as far as the stages go, they were cool. As far as the layouts, it was very interesting with how the stages were laid out, how they worked. But I didn't like the civilian mechanic. That annoyed me in a lot of cases, just for the sake of the fact of having to constantly protect them and use those statues and stuff, versus how civilians worked in other stages like Il Circusano, and there was like one or two others where you were just like protecting the civilians to get them through the point, as opposed to, they're constantly on the stage and you have to do stuff to protect them and manage your deployment points to be able to activate those statues. That was kind of annoying. And the fact that you had enemies that could destroy the statues, which caused more issues. Overall, a lot of problems, but it is what it is. So guys, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you for watching, for taking the time to hang out with me on the channel and to watch my videos. You guys are very, very awesome. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you can, especially if you're new to the channel. That's going to help me to continue to grow and bring you more cool content. And with that, that's it for this one and our playthrough of Hortus de Escapismo. I will see you guys next time.